You're probably using the data feed from AMP.
Yeah. Let me see what this does.
There he is. What's going on, soldier? Or Marine. I guess I should call you Marine, huh?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. We had a
Good, good.
fun but chilly weekend, so it was good.
Yeah, it's getting cold here too. It's like 30 degrees this morning.
Yeah, that's starting to get chilly once you get below 30. I worked out at a place called Camp McCall. Camp McCall is where basically all the special forces students come for their like initial training. So once they've been selected, they go to McCall. We teach them small unit tactics, uh, combat marksmanship. We do some CQB training, teach them airborne operations. But you're out there. I mean, it's in North Carolina, but it's like it seems like I did 2 years as an instructor out there, and we would get a lot of storms that come through here, and man, we would just get dumped on. And it'd be so cold out there, but they would not let us have fires with the students until it dipped below 32 degrees. So I had a thermometer that for some reason had gotten stuck below 32. And there were some days that like our command would come out and we'd have a fire and they'd be like, Carrie, it's not 32. I was like, no, sir, for real. Look, it's below 32. And he'd be like, huh. He'd look at that thermometer. But, it starts to get chilly, especially if you're wet.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was born and raised in California, so I'm not
Right.
used to this, 30-degree weather out here.
Yeah. Well, I was just talking with Ryan. It looks to me like it wants to go back up and fill this drop from last week. We're trading above the quarterly. It got some good footing right at this previous month's VWAP and quarterly VWAP, and now it's rallying. So we'll see what it does this morning. I thought that I would try to trade again this morning without using any levels and just again focus on helping people understand the CVD and the trades dealt a little bit different, a little better, I guess. And yeah, does anybody have any questions this morning or anything? I know there was a few that were posted. I didn't really get a chance to. We went camping and went to a shooting competition on Saturday, and then yesterday was just super busy. So let me look at some of these here. Excuse me. answering somebody's questions. So so interesting to me. Um, I don't know if you guys watch NinjaTrader Live at all, but like right now, Tanya Trades is trading on NinjaTrader Live using TradingView, not NT8, using TradingView and teaching ICT trading concepts. So I was like, that just seems super odd to me. Why would NinjaTrader have a trader on there who is not using NinjaTrader 8 and is also not showcasing all of the order flow tools that NT8 has? So what I discovered is that there is an integration that you can pay $10 a month for, so your trades, that you execute on TradingView go to, I guess, NinjaTrader brokerage or into NinjaTrader, so you can trade prop accounts on TradingView, and you can use, the NinjaTrader trade copier. So they charge you $10 for the integration, and then what NinjaTrader does, I guess the reason why they're doing this is that I'm not going to say that they're using her as a honeypot necessarily, but you have this female on there teaching very popular cultish, you know, trading systems, ICT concepts. And then what they try to do is then they try to upsell you, right? Because they've got your email captured and all that stuff. Try to upsell you into purchasing a lifetime license with NT8. And so I first noticed this a few weeks ago, and I was like, man, that just seems so kind of scuzzy. I don't know, like in a low key kind of way that they would have somebody on there again teaching, ICT concepts and using trading view on the Ninja Trader Live YouTube stream. It's just so funny to me that they're doing that. I can't feature Sierra chart ever doing anything like that. So again, it just confirms I'm using the right trading platform. But these companies will do anything, guys, to get your money. Absolutely. I know that NinjaTrader has a storied history as well, but I'm not going to get into that. I'll be right back, guys. You can't see the video at all, Jason? I've also got it streaming on YouTube. I don't know if you want to, although I think that there's probably a little bit of a delay there. Video at all, Jason? Yeah, there is a delay. There's a delay because I just heard myself ask that question on YouTube. I've also got it streaming on YouTube. I don't know if you want to, although I think that there's probably a little bit of a delay there. Video at all, Jason? Yeah, there is a delay. All right, so I'm going to switch over to the RTH chart. I'm going to kind of focus just on the RTH information. You guys can see where we're at right now. We came down on Friday and tapped into that previous month's VWAP and the quarterly VWAP. We didn't really start seeing any buying at all until it started to hit the quarterly, and then between the quarterly and the monthly, the trades delta shifted and was just basically bullish from that point on. And then so now we're back above the quarterly. We're also back above the previous day's VWAP. And I haven't looked at the delta yet this morning, but if the delta is positive, then in the overnight session, there's a good chance it'll kind of continue. I would not be surprised if we go all the way back up to the previous week's VWAP close. The monthly VWAP, we've kind of got two or three different confluences up there. There's also high volume node for you volume folks. But today, I want to just trade without looking at any horizontal levels, kind of like I did on Friday. Basically, just want to talk with you guys through what I'm seeing on the delta and the trades delta, and again, I hope you guys kind of wrap your heads around order flow, because ultimately, the horizontal levels themselves do not matter. I mean, they really don't. The only thing that matters is what the order book is telling you. So if the order book is telling you you should be long, then you should probably be long. And if it's telling you that it's time to get short, then you should probably be looking for short. So speaking from my own personal experience, when I've got a bunch of horizontal levels on my chart, right? Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I was talking with Ryan about this last night. Is that what do you do? What do you do when you're looking at a chart and you're not paying attention to any order flow? All that you're looking at is horizontal levels, high volume nodes, low volume nodes, fair value gaps, whatever, right? Support and resistance, whatever. And price pierces right through one of those levels. How does that make you feel? For me personally, I'm like, dang, like it sucks, right? It wrecks my psyche. So if we can shift our focus to looking at the order flow and learning to see, changes in the order flow, then we can try to position ourselves in alignment with the order book. And there's no reason to get out. There's no reason to really exit your trade once you're in alignment with the order book. There's no reason to exit the trade unless that order flow changes, regardless of whatever horizontal level you're looking at, right? Don't get out of your trades until you see a shift in order flow, because it will continue to go directional, right? So today we're just going to focus again back on the order flow. We're not going to get wrapped up in horizontal levels today. So I'm going to switch to the other chart, and let's see here. And I got to make sure that I switch it on YouTube here as well. So, okay, RTH tactical. All right. Okay. Let me get rid of that. We don't need the title bar. Okay, so let's see. So this is just RTH. All right, so I will mark this here because there is a gap at the last price that was printed. And again, I have no idea where we're going to open up on this thing really in relation to where we are at. So basically we got a blank slate, and let's see where we pop up. So we've got delta initially looking positive here. And let's see where is price at? Are we above it? Yes, we're way above it. Okay, so you guys can see already that there is a large gap but between where we are opening at and where we closed on Friday. I have my close set to 1700. Some people do, 415. Everybody feels differently about it. I know that I can trade futures with the Apex all the way up until 1700. So that's why I choose to keep mine like that. Let me get rid of this real quick. All right, so you guys can see where we're at. We've got an initial push negative on Delta out of the gate. I'm gonna try to get to that. Okay, oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I've got to change it. Sorry, guys. Thanks, Travis. There we go. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I had set it on YouTube, but not in the stream. All right, so you guys can see here is our gap where we closed on Friday, and then here is where we opened up at, right? So the algorithms and everything kind of again reset right at 9:30. Boom, they reset. Now what? Now we've got to go with their momentum. Okay. Today might be a little bit funky too because it is there's really no news or anything, but hopefully we get some good order flow and it will make sense. So out of the gate, we've got this initial push down. I'm not going to open up a short position or anything just yet. I want to give this thing some time, right, to figure out what it wants to do here. Again, I'm using the NQ chart, but I'm trading MNQ. Usually these gaps get filled, but not every day. Gap up is an indication of, upward momentum, so to speak. All right. So I'm going to take one short on a micro here because our delta is starting to break lower. Actually, I don't have the trades delta on here, so I need to fix that for you guys. Apologize. Huh. I wonder why it did not save that chart book, but I wanted to start talking with you guys about the trades delta. Charlie, the reason why I didn't give you guys the trades delta on the chart book that I put out was because I'm trying not to overload people with stuff. I want people to start learning to look for order flow first before they start leaning on their horizontal levels that they're drawing on their chart. And so initially it was going to be about, cumulative volume delta, but now we're in like week 2 of this. So I'm trying to, again, give you guys some different things to look at. All right, so what do you know? Our short's going in the right direction. Okay, so why is the short going in the right direction? Is it because there's a gap there? Is it because we just bounced off of some kind of, support and resistance level? No, the short is working simply because our order flow is going down. All right, and right now we have really nice alignment. Between our trades delta, which is in red, and our volume delta, which is in blue. Okay, and again, these are just open high low close bars, and I just do this because it's simple. All right, so we're in alignment with order flow. Doesn't that feel good? Now you just have to wait and see, right? What happens from here? I'm going to relabel this so that way you guys can see some of this stuff. I apologize. I did all of this on Friday. I don't know why it didn't stick. Okay, so cumulative volume delta. We're going to name that, and we're going to put a value label on it. Okay, so there's our CVD, and then I'm going to duplicate that, and we're going to change this one so that way it's looking at the trades delta. Okay, trades, we're going to call this one, I guess I'm going to call this CDT. CR chart uses some funky names, cumulative delta bars, trades. I'm just going to call it cumulative trades delta. All right. Okay. So we've got this initial push down, and we're just going to stay with it. Depending on your account size and how aggressive you want to get, when these two start to pull back, right, you could possibly add in on a kind of a retest. And this is RTH delta neutral. This is a very important level. Now, we had some aggressive selling, but we've not really seen aggressive buying yet. Again, I told you guys that I wasn't going to use any horizontal levels, and the first thing that I did was print the gap. So I apologize for that, but we'll leave the gap on there. But I'm not really looking at anything else. I'm just trying to observe the relationship between aggressive buyers and sellers. So right now, the sellers are being more aggressive, and we want to be on that side of that aggression. We'll just keep it simple. Let me look at this. If you guys have any questions, you guys can post the questions here in Trading Voice chat for those of you that are not on voice, and I can answer them for you. So we're watching for this kind of continued momentum. We didn't add, could have added, didn't add, simply because I'm trying to keep things light and simple for you guys who are trading these smaller accounts. We can see now that they are back in alignment with each other. Right, we have just very simply, we've got a high there, and they're matching up. Okay, so they're still in alignment with each other. No reason to exit the trade. Again, we're not looking at any. I'm not looking at any profit targets. Just looking for alignment and alignment between price, the trades delta, and the volume delta. So those of you guys that have watched my stream a few times or been in this Discord group, you know that these 1K levels are powerful. Oftentimes we'll get reversals from them. I'm noticing that our trades delta is slightly above the volume delta, and so that is indicative of there being what I would consider minor absorption is taking place. When they're both like in true alignment with each other like that, then there's really no absorption that's happening. But when our trades delta starts to diverge, and I'm trying to zoom in, you guys let me know if you can see it, but when our trades delta starts to diverge above the volume delta, it means that size is hitting the sell side, right? So size, there's more size that is crossing the bid-ask spread, and they're slamming the bid side with size on in market orders, but there is some divergence in that our trades deltas is a little bit higher. Doesn't mean that it's going to reverse or anything like that, but just something to note. So let's just watch and see what it does. If these guys start to make new highs and price is not making new highs yet, whoops, not a straight line. If our delta starts to make new highs, even though our price is not making new highs yet, then we start to take notice of that, right? At this point, I would exit this trade if we go, if price really breaks, or I'm sorry, not price, if our order flow really breaks above RTH delta neutral, then I would absolutely exit this trade. There is a chance that it can go back up and kind of retest it, but if it breaks through it at this point, that is a clear sign that the market, that the order flow has shifted and you need to get out of your trade. So right now, the most important levels on our chart is this RTH delta neutral, and I would say this low, right? Watching this interaction between price and delta here at the low. Price is still looking heavy. Delta's still looking heavy. Leon, were you able to catch that short? Still looking heavy. Delta's still looking heavy. Just watching. Hey, I think that's a good thing. Yeah, I find myself, again, I've got this gap on here. I know that the gap is there. So my mind, right, like my mind is pulling toward that. But again, you can start to see some subtle divergences in the order flow already happening, right? Our price is continuing lower, but yet we're getting some subtle divergences. It looks like it wants to break and continue lower, but I just want to point this out to you guys. It does not mean, right? You've got a divergence there, but doesn't mean that it's going to reverse at this point. I think this is the problem that I see with a lot of other traders who are coaching volume delta and things like that on YouTube, is that they're just like, oh, there's a divergence, I've got to go, go against the trend here. No, not necessarily, right? I'm happy that we got the direction right out of the open. If you were on one contract, you'd be up $2,000 right now. And it wasn't that difficult, right? We just went with what the order flow was telling us. So I just took a glance at the chart here. And again, I don't want to get wrapped up in horizontal levels today, but I'm going to post this for you guys to see it. Come on. We just hit the quarterly VWAP. Is it easier if I post stuff for you guys in the in Discord, in the Trading Voice chat, text chat, or do you want me to post stuff in the general chat? Kind of feeling like general chat might be better. I don't know. I'll hit it in both. Let me know what you guys prefer.
Yeah, I think general makes sense.
Okay. So now we are getting a big push here in Delta. All right, I'll keep everything in general. But again, of note, like we just hit that quarterly VWAP, and look at what's happening with our order flow. The order flow is starting to really turn bullish. It looks like to me, it's starting to make new highs. Price hasn't followed yet. But we're starting to get some more aggressive buying. More buying trades are coming in. Okay, if you were in this trade with multiple contracts, you could take profit. I mean, again, you're seeing some subtle shifts here in the order flow. This is not as subtle. This divergence, I consider this to be pretty subtle. This is not as subtle, right? Our order flow is starting to expand up, even though price isn't there yet. So sellers are still leaning on the order book, kind of keeping it suppressed right here. But you can see that there's more aggressive buying coming in. Maybe we'll get lucky and get like a delta flip above this neutral area. I'm going to go ahead and exit this short. Okay, so I'm out. And that's simply because our order flow is starting to make new highs, even though price is not yet. So the order book is shifting, looks to be kind of shifting bullish. I exited this short, but I'm not necessarily reinitiating a new long. All right. And I don't think I will do that until either we get a hard push back down, which could very likely happen, but it would be neat if it flipped right here and started to run positive, right? That I might take along. But for now, we're just, so we basically exited the short. It was 1 micro. Again, just trying to get you guys to look at this from an order flow standpoint. So let's see what they give us next. What's going to be our next bit of information? You can see if you look at the tops, if you look at the tops of our order flow, right? The volume delta and the trades delta, it's starting to make higher highs, even though price isn't confirming that yet. Make sure that this is streaming correctly here, YouTube. Gotta get another monitor so I can keep track of this stuff. Okay. All right, so another little push down on price. I need my background music. Sorry. So you guys can see what's happening here between our orders and the price. This is a 30-second chart. So I think we all can agree that somebody is buying. Their goal is to do it without you noticing. So they're trying to use limit orders as much as they can, because when you use a limit order, the limit order is like a backstop. Like it just absorbs the aggressive market order. But when they use an aggressive buying order, a market order, right, then price jumps because it crosses one price level in the bid-ask spread. So they're, in order for them to accumulate large positions and do it, kind of like a stealth submarine, they need to have aggressive sell orders. They need to have market sells slamming into their passive limit orders. So this is kind of what you're seeing, right? There's some aggressive market orders that are buying, but they're not really effective yet, and that's because the sellers are still very much on the upper book themselves with their own limit orders. Is that music too loud for you guys?
No, that's good.
All right. I know initially it came on and it was kind of loud. The trick is always waiting. You start to see changes, but you just gotta wait and be patient.
So pretty much right now we're waiting to see if it's gonna potentially go back up above delta neutral and then establish itself above that, or I guess below
Yeah.
the negative 1K.
Right, so you really have two options. You can try to, oops, I didn't want to draw that. You can wait, try to dissect, right, whatever is happening here. Or I think a safer option, right, if you're just trying to get an account funded or you're trying to grow a small account, you don't need to try to dissect all of this that's happening down here. You can wait for these two guys. Oops, not that either. Sorry. Wait for these two guys to get in alignment. Watch them the order book kind of go back to delta neutral. Watch what happens right here, because you can either potentially re-short it back down or let it break, right? Let it break positive, and then you'll kind of get like a little bit of a retracement. Sometimes it'll have a really nice rally once it goes positive again. Other times it kind of meanders around down here before it actually breaks positive. So I think those are kind of your two main plays, is try to, pick the bottom, right? So this is what I try to focus on this, or you wait for, something that happens back closer to delta neutral. So we see that there's buying in the order book, right? There is absolutely a divergence, but it's, when do you pull the trigger? The safest time to pull the trigger is if you're trying to get long, it's going to be when this thing breaks through this delta neutral level and it goes positive.
Makes sense.
Because then at that point they can't hide it anymore. So yes, price is falling. I'm telling you guys, you have to trust the order book. The order book, the orders come in first, right? And then they're interpreted by your trading software and they're displayed on your chart in the form of candlesticks. You can't hide the orders themselves, right? So they try to manipulate price and our psychologies to try to bait us into trades. So I got out too early, and that's okay. See if we can detect when we should go long. That'll be the next thing. Something else that you can ask yourself is so we've dropped 660. We've basically dropped 200 points, which most people would say, well, that's a big drop. It is a big drop, but our order book's not really indicative of that, right? Like it's telling us that there's starting to be buying coming in. You can see too that there's a slight divergence between the volume delta and our trades. The trades is saying that there's starting to be more buying trades coming in. The gap between these two is starting to widen too. This is an important point right here. This is our RTH low. I like to keep track of this. No long entry yet. I'll be honest with you, it's easier to watch this when the process is sped up. Like I'll go back and rewatch some of my videos, and it will often be a lot more obvious when it's running at like 2x or 3x speed. Okay, so now we can see, right, we're starting to get some lifting in the order book. It's actually starting to affect price now. right? We've had this lifting in the trades. Could try 1 micro long here. Let's just see what happens. Now the order book is actually starting to affect price. It's starting to actually get some traction. Now it could absolutely hit this RTH neutral area here and drop again. But I think there's enough of a shift there for me to try 1 micro. We made $200 on the way down. So if you're, trading a small account, you'd basically be playing with somebody else's money. If it breaks this and our volume delta really starts to tank, we can get out.
Cereal. The Oreo cereal.
You have to go ask mommy, darling.
No, she's in the shower.
She's in the shower.
Yeah.
Can you ask your brother?
No.
If we do break back through delta neutral and we get a pullback, then I will add in this section here. Apologize if you guys hear my 3-year-old in the background there. You guys should feel good knowing that it's like, okay, yeah, we're down here at this bottom, but I can see the buying coming in. Not super convincing yet, but it is there, nevertheless. Versus just blindly entering at the gap or using a limit order. So I'm not gonna panic if price does something crazy. Focused on the order book. I do think that it's noteworthy that we're seeing this kind of divergence, and it has not hit, it's not even hit 1K yet, negative 1K. Okay, so there's still some aggressive sellers in the market. Even though we've got this bit of divergence between the trades delta and the volume delta. Something that we talked about a little bit last week is yeah, there was a push down. There's a negative delta that hit the book, but it's really perhaps stop orders being run. I don't know that it's newly initiated selling just yet. Price wicked below this previous low. The only way that you'll know if it's newly initiated selling is if the aggression starts to hit the order book again and starts to make, you know, fresh lows. But we're not seeing that yet. The order book is still very much looking bullish. Not going to DCA down or get heavy or anything like that. Just be patient with it. I do have the swing points on here, so there are two lows right here from, I guess, from Friday or something. So we want to see this start to break up and through here. I think that's probably the safest confirmation you guys can have. If you didn't enter on the divergence where I did, it's okay. You can, when the delta does break higher through RTH neutral, you absolutely can enter along there. And maybe I'll add if that happens. So some aggressive buying. Okay, more stops for sure. Is it newly initiated selling? Maybe, but I doubt it. Definitely some stops. Again, based on your risk profile, you know, maybe you got stopped out there. It's okay. I'm gonna hold on to this here. I feel pretty good about what I'm seeing on the order book. Again, my risk profile is, everybody's different, so definitely have some absorption. Some point this delta flip is going to happen, and then we can get more aggressive with our sizing here. If you guys are concerned about drawdown, again, you can always exit and wait for, like we talked about earlier, about the delta flip for the cross over delta neutral. Usually when I see it start to diverge, I like to try to start building a position. I'll try to always get myself the best theoretical average price that I can get. Sometimes if you wait for the delta flip, I'm not going to say that you're late. I still think that you're very early in the overall scheme of things, but may not always be the absolute best entry price. Again, I just trade with micros. My personal account's not large enough for me to sustain, you know, tens of thousands of dollars worth of drawdown, so I like to build into these positions. If you guys are trading Apex accounts, then you have to consider your drawdown. So we're starting to get an even larger divergence now between price and delta. Let's see if the order book will flip here. One of the things that I've considered implementing in my trading is Jex levels. I do like the idea of it, but at the same time, like, okay, like right now, you know, we're probably getting into some Jex levels, and it's like, all right, well, so what? Like, again, it's just another horizontal level on my chart that my brain is going to feel torn in between. Whereas if I just focus on what the order book is telling me is happening, I don't have that that tug. Like, you know, this horizontal level should hold or might hold or whatever. I just go with what the order book is saying. Definitely more stops. Excuse me. See if what happens here at this RTH low. We get down here to this 1K level RTH low, I probably will DCA into half of a full-size contract. I'm gonna buy 2 now. So just in 3 micros. Chart is showing some kind of swing low there, but I don't know what it's from. Let's see if we can, these guys can get serious here, the buyers. Can see that our spread between our CVD and cumulative trades delta is even wider. So again, there's size hitting the sell side, but buying trades are still continuing to come in at a higher rate now. When our delta flattens out like this, that's a good thing. That's absorption. One of the things that I do like to look at is these large round numbers. We're at 25,300. I'm going to pick up 2 more micros here. Close to 25,300. I meant to put them on the charts. I don't have them on there yet. We're not too heavy on our trade. Again, what's neat about trading like this is that at some point this delta is going to flip and this thing will start to rally. And then when it does, and you get those nice clear breaks of delta neutral, then you can really add in to these positions. A lot of times you'll get a nice bounce at the RTH low. You guys can see how much the order book is skewed compared to price. This whole range through here, right? It's all absorption. We have some selling, but I think again that those are more stops. They're not, it's not freshly initiated sellers. On days when your order book, like if it flips from here and starts to really go positive and rally, on days when your sell side order book does not go below 1K, I would expect for it to rally a fair amount, probably up to 2K or 3K or even higher on once the order book actually flips. And again, you guys can absolutely wait for it to flip. You don't have to do not follow my trades. All right, please don't do that. I don't want to have anything on my consciousness about you blowing an account or whatever because you averaged down when I did or whatever. So let's just watch and see. Watch this phenomenon of accumulation occur here. Probably some stops there for some late sellers. See if we can get this delta break. I would be very surprised if it breaks lower than this at this point. I feel like that's going to be the low of the day there. Obviously, I could be wrong. So we've managed to gently, without going too much into the hole, work our way into a profitable position. Took a little bit of heat on the way down for things to kind of catch up, but let's see what happens. The trades delta looks like it wants to tug up on the order book here. We'll know for sure if this is the low if we actually get a break higher. You can see, again, I'm just looking at the trades delta here, but that's the divergence that we're looking at in the order book with trades. Pretty sharp. Aren't you guys glad you didn't buy the previous day's VWAP? I hope you did. One of the other tools that I do like to look at that I do not have up on the chart is the tick. Talked about it with you guys briefly. I will incorporate the tick at some point into the chart book that I have for you guys, but I want to hold off on that. Gonna just want to focus on the order book and help you guys understand what's going on and how to actually spot accumulation. And you can spot accumulation with the NYSE or Nasdaq tick, but you're spotting accumulation on the equities side, which is great, but it does not necessarily translate into something actionable here on the future side. So when we're looking at order flow here, we're focused on the actual order flow of NQ itself. Again, you can do the same thing with ES, you can do the same thing with gold. It's just that the delta levels are different. The ES having a much thicker order book, those levels are going to be much higher, right? 5K, 10K, 15K, 20K. Good job, Ryan. Hope you caught the short on the way down.
Yeah, I got the short.
Nice, man.
And then went ahead and I was in this long, but with meetings coming up, I went ahead and just got out while I was in the green.
Okay.
Where
Sounds
I don't want to be in a trade and not be able to see and watch things.
Right. Looks like we might get the delta flip here. If it does, then it'll probably want to run a bit. All right, well, have a great day. I'm going to be on for a little bit longer, and then we have some friends coming over at 1 o'clock, and it's almost 11, so or not almost 11, but 10:38, so I'll have to go and help everybody get ready for that. So I'll talk to you later, brother.
Awesome. Y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all.
Leon, I just saw your thing there about having Renko bars. You just need to go in and change your bar type. And I don't have VWAP. I don't have VWAP on this chart right now. Imagine if you were like one of those people that's super into like you know, stats based around the gap. It basically just shot right through that thing. So filled the gap and just kept going. Again, that's why I don't get long, just because there's a level there. I've really gotten away from that. I'm trying to focus again on the order book and what it's telling me, because it'll slice right through levels, and then you're just kind of left there scratching your head going, well, I built out this stat around gaps, and I know that 77% of gaps are filled, and it filled the gap, but why didn't it bounce there? So again, these horizontal levels that we put in our charts, the order book does not care. So let's see if these buyers are wanting to get serious. So got a little bounce off of the RTH delta low, so there's some buying that's coming in. I think this is a good shot here of, again, that divergence. How many trades, how many buying trades are actually starting to come in? I'm not going to add until this thing breaks delta neutral and we get some kind of a pullback. I'm going to kind of show you guys that process. If you're not in the trade yet, then wait for it to break delta neutral and really convincingly show you that it wants to go higher. Breaks this little swing point here, we'll definitely see a flush and positive delta. I'm always looking at these swing points. You can see that our trades delta is right here. And this is where that same swing point is at on price. So starting to show its hand. If you want to, something that you can do so you feel better about it or whatever is you can exit. I think our first buy was up here. You could exit that, take the L on it, and then you would have your 4 micros, you know, that we bought down in here. Let me turn on the orders just to see what that looks like. Oops. Okay, so here was our short. We closed the short. We tried to buy 1 micro there on this kind of divergence here. Continue to drop. We bought, I think, 2 more micros or 3 micros here. So if we, I'm going to do this for you guys so you can see it. I'm going to close this one. Okay. So that closed that one. So that is a, you know, a losing trade, which is fine. And then you guys can see that our theoretical average moved down. So something that you can do is, you know, maybe you use this point right here as your hard stop. Now, you know, if it breaks below this swing point, then you just get out completely, try to start redoing the process. However you want to do it. It's your risk. All I can do is share with you my own experience and interpretation with it. Okay, so now we are up, you know, $800. We're starting to get this cross. Let's see if it actually pops through. Again, you can play around with it, right? If you need to, maybe you took some heat on the way down. You know, maybe you close your trade out completely. There would be nothing wrong with you closing the trade completely. When the delta gets back up here, you could close that trade completely. You could wait for it to really break higher to look for another long. You could short. I mean, man, just options, right? You got lots of options of what you want to do. We want to see this delta, the volume delta, which is the blue line. We want to see the volume delta break, continue to go higher. But you could absolutely close the trade now completely. Again, it's up to you guys. My goal is just to teach you how to read the order book a little bit. I hope that it's helpful. Again, there's some little bit of art and science to it. Let's take some profit. And now we're in a nice, manageable position, right? The order book is showing us that it wants to go higher. Maybe not in a very, very convincing way yet, but I would say that if it starts to again really break through this, then that's telling you that, you know, we opened up here and it sold off. And if these orders, you know, break through here, that's telling you that that at this point, this very moment in time, you know, whether it happens here or up here, is that there's now more buying orders that have been that have printed in the order book. So we've had all this selling down here. We started to diverge, really started to diverge about 9:45. So about 15 minutes after the open is when we started to see more buying orders coming in. I'm feeling like it's going to go higher. It's interesting. Again, we didn't get down to negative 1K. Kind of made this little double bottom here on RTH delta low, and now it's wanting to go. So something that's interesting that you can do too is that if you do get this delta flip, right, meaning that it's positive on the RTH, you can buy up to that point, right? So add in up to that point right there, or you can wait for pullback. I told you guys that I was going to wait for a pullback before I add in, so I'm not going to add when this thing crosses neutral here. Now I know that there's a volume profile on the right here. I'm not looking at this in any shape or form. This is just showing me over the entire chart book that this area right here is like a high volume node, which makes sense because the chart book goes back, I don't know, a couple of days. Whoops. That's actually not a bad look. Maybe we'll keep that there. But I'm not fixated on this at all. At this point, I'm not looking at candle formations, candle patterns, fair value gaps, or anything like that. I don't care. All I care about is what is this telling me? What are the orders themselves telling me? Now there is a small divergence between price and our delta. Could be a cap, so to speak. And it could drop from here and sweep this low again. Again, I don't try not to predict on what it's going to do. All I can do is read the order flow itself. I would be surprised if it does break below this, but it might. So now our trades delta is positive on the day. Didn't get a volume delta break yet. That's all right. If this trades delta starts to make new highs right here, and volume delta follows it, I'll add into this. If price for some reason does come back down here, then we should probably get out because it kind of nullifies our divergence that we're seeing here in the order book. Yeah, I agree. But now if the buyers are really the aggressive buyers that are now kind of like I look at it like this, like they've kind of accumulated a position. They basically accumulated through this entire drop here, and then their aggression starts to kick in. So if they're serious about it, we want to see price start to kind of lead delta in this direction. Again, no predictions about what's going to happen next. It absolutely could start selling off. There could be fresh aggressive selling come in, and we have to get out. But I'm also not saying that, just because I'm long right now, it doesn't mean that we're going back to the overnight high or that we're going back to the previous day's VWAP or any of that stuff. I honestly don't worry about that. I try to hold my trades as long as I can. And until the order book convinces me that it wants to do something else. Watching to see if the trades delta and the volume delta both make new highs. If they make new highs, then again, that's saying, hey, this order book is wanting to go up. I would feel better about adding if my volume delta was back above RTH. Neutral, it's not yet. That's why I'm not getting aggressive with it. I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about it. This gives me a lot more confidence to stay in my trades longer, right? There's somebody right now looking at a 1 minute chart scratching their head. They're not feeling like they know that something's going on, but it's almost like they're missing something. All right, Travis, I'll see you later, brother. I'm gonna try to let this thing resolve itself, but appreciate you hopping on, man. Leon, is it making sense? Figuring some of it out, man? Looks like we're getting maybe another pop here. Just realized my mic was muted. Apologize. See if we can get a nice convincing break here on Delta, and we can add into this position. Just letting it play out, right? We're not panicking about it. Leon, let me know if you have any questions. Welcome, brother. Appreciate you being here. So I'm just waiting to see if this thing pops and runs, and we can get some pullbacks. Yeah, no problem, man. I get it. Really watching what happens here. If it breaks higher, we can get a pullback, then we'll add into this position. Order book is looking bullish, but we're not quite, the size is not quite as big on the buying side yet. Lots of buying trades hitting the market, but I'm gonna take one off right there for now, because again, it could very likely just sell back off. That's fine. I feel like it won't, but this is a pretty decent divergence. Back there. Goodness, that's where it started diverging at. Basically 945, 946. Still ironing out how I want to handle the streaming and everything else. it might want to take another pass here at this low. I'm not super convinced yet that these buyers are getting aggressive. On these kinds of days, with no major news catalyst, you can get some big time, accumulation, consolidation areas, and there's nothing keeping it from just sitting down here, especially around. I'm just looking at the strategic chart, and we are at the previous month's VWAP. So if you're a bank or a hedge fund and you're looking to buy, like, we're definitely in an area of, we're in a discounted area, right? But we'll hold through this here. The nice thing is that if for some reason it does really start to come back against us and we take an L, we know that it just gives us a better buying opportunity later. It's pretty long on the tooth for me to want to try to get short right here, but you know. I made the mistake of going to X, and now I'm watching a video of a guy that made a chair for his kids. Pretty cool, but I need to stay focused here. Oh, that's funny. All right, so we're getting a convincing break here. This is good, right? These buyers are saying, okay, it's time to buy. So now I feel a lot better about adding into this position. So we want to see, so now we've got Nice alignment with price and delta. Trades delta. I'm gonna change this. CTD. Now we're getting a nice little rally. I'm gonna sell one there. I know. It's like, why would he sell one there when he's looking to add? Just because we never know. We never know what's going to happen in the market. So I'm okay with taking profit there. Our order book is quite a bit higher than price is right now, and like this is going well. But yes, if there is if there's a pullback, then we can look to add into this. I thought there was another chart drawn in there. RTH delta neutral. Our book's looking pretty bullish now. No reason for us to exit until it starts to change its characteristics. Leon, again, I hope that you're catching it, man. It's starting to make sense. I have 6 people watching on YouTube, which is, again, new. If you guys are on YouTube and you're watching, again, I'm trying to grow the channel. Basically offering you guys free, nearly real-time order flow trading. And yeah. Oh, man, there's questions there. Hey, I apologize. I didn't see the questions. I actually have questions on YouTube. I was not looking at the chat because I'm kind of limited on screen space. I've got a large widescreen monitor that I'm looking at that normally I would use for trading. But when you're trying to stream, it's OBS and Discord and everything else is taking up my space. So as far as the chart book goes, I'm not going to share it right now. I'm still trying to figure out what direction I want all of this to go, if I'm being completely honest. I would very much like to, again, I'm speaking to the folks on YouTube because there's some questions on there. Very much would like to put together a trading course to help folks understand how to read the order book and read order flow in a very simple way, so you're not having to look at footprint charts and the DOM and all of that, which again, I've gone through all of that over the years, and I've just found a way for me to simplify it and to get myself in alignment with aggressive market participants. So I get a lot of ICT traders that come to me or come to my channel because they're just blown away at the accuracy of it. Again, we're not looking at liquidity sweeps. We're not looking at anything other than just really what the order book is telling us. And so I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys can like the video, I guess. Man, I feel like a cheese ball asking that, but you know, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll continue to try to give you guys, you know, actionable trade ideas. There's a delay in YouTube, unfortunately. I think it's like 15 to 30 seconds, so I apologize for that. Yes, it is Sierra Charts, and Sierra Charts is hands down the best professional trading platform that retail traders have access to, hands down. And I've used every one of them. The information that you guys are getting through TradingView is reconstructed, what's called a reconstructed data tape. It's not as accurate. So the order flow tools in TradingView I would not trust at all. They've started pushing footprint charts and things like that because people are more interested in them. I think TradingView is fine for, you know, higher time frame, longer term charting, but I absolutely would not trust it for reading order flow. But yes, this is Sierra chart. Awesome. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah. I am realizing the more that I do this that I do not really want to manage a Discord with hundreds or thousands of people into it. I'm a retired military vet. I have a very private life. Got 4 kids. I do not want to, you know, I'm not doing this to seek glory or fame or any of that stuff from my military service. I just want to try to help people with what I've experienced, what I've learned through trading over the years. But at the same time, I am only one person. And I only have so much bandwidth, right? Like I already get slammed with trades every day on X, or not trades, slammed with questions every day on X. And it's hard to keep up with it, right? When I'm trying to spend time with my wife and kids and be a present father, that to me is more important than anything else. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure how I want to continue with it, but I think the easiest thing for me and to retain my sanity would just be put together a trading course. And you know, obviously I put a lot of time and value into it to make sure that you guys understand how I trade. It's painful for me to watch these gurus on YouTube. Like right now, there's like, I don't know, like 1,700 people watching Ninja Trader, and it's an influencer who is trading on TradingView, not even trading Ninja Trader NT8 platform, and trading ICT concepts. And it's like, you know, again, it just seems kind of, I'm not going to say that it's underhanded necessarily, but it's a little deceptive once you've been in this trading business long enough and you see all these different influencers and none of them are really giving you guys any value, right? They're not. They're just showing you a price chart. They're YOLOing into evals into their accounts. And so I would never want to do that. I hated that when I was trying to figure out trading. I'm not going to mention any influencers' names, but again, like it's all just a scam, right? To get you guys. Yeah, I like him. He's good. Yeah, it's interesting to me that they've chosen to go that route. But I guess, like I was telling, I do have a handful of people in a Discord and they're listening as well, and I was talking with them about it. I guess that there's an integration between TradingView and NT8, so your trades get executed in NT8. But again, it's baffling to me. I guess they're trying to get people to subscribe to that integration, which I think is like $10 or $15 a month, and then I suppose that the folks at Ninja Trader are trying to get them to buy lifetime NT8 licenses. That's all that I can think of. And I have a lifetime NT8 license, but it was, you know, that was years ago. So they're just using ICT's, you know, they're leveraging ICT's name and following to get people to buy the integration and ultimately convert them to NTA lifetime license holders. So again, I've never talked with anybody directly from Sierra Chart. They've liked several of my posts, which I'm very grateful for, but I just can't ever imagine Sierra Chart doing something like that. So I'll continue to be loyal to Sierra Chart. I like their morals, their ethics, their values, and they're an American-made company, so I continue to support them. And they just have the most customizable trading platform out there. Somebody offered me to go trade with Rain Trading, who is kind of an up-and-coming prop firm, and I was given TT access, Trading Technologies access, and the very first thing that I did was add a VWAP to my chart, and I couldn't customize, and I couldn't do a weekly or a monthly VWAP, couldn't do a quarterly VWAP. I just had VWAP, and it's like, okay, I've got VWAP, that's great, but this is a $1,400 a month trading platform. I should be able to customize VWAP. And then I went to add cumulative volume delta onto my chart. Same thing. I couldn't customize the CVD at all for different time periods. I couldn't customize it to reset at RTH open. None of that. None of those basic things that I can do on Sierra Chart. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate the offer, guys, but I'm just going to stick to trading my personal account, trading my prop accounts. But TT pales in comparison to Sierra Chart. Hands down. Hands down. So don't get, you guys that are starting to kind of make it as traders and start to get payouts, don't get scammed into to going over there just to have access to trading technologies, because I'm just, my own opinion, it's not worth it. So anyway, back to the action. Kind of looking to see if we get a little bit of a pullback here to delta neutral. I've been talking to you guys all morning about this kind of accumulation process. Our order book has flipped positive now, so it's absolutely bullish, and I feel like you should absolutely be looking for longs. However, or whatever that means to you. For me, I would not get long until after it breaks 1K delta level, a pullback to that, or a pullback to this RTH neutral. Yeah, and I just realized that you guys can't see the volume profile on the right side of the chart, but I'm honestly not trading the volume profile at all. I kind of just have it on there because people ask about it. But so let's see what happens here. I'll see if I can adjust it. Oh, wow, okay. Hey, sorry. I didn't realize that you... Whoops. Sorry, guys, I'm adjusting the stream here. Okay. See how that looks. There you go. You're still seeing OBS in the background. That fix it? Nope. I apologize. You could tell that I'm not a professional streamer. Oh, it's so funny. Some of you guys are picking up that I play Minecraft with my son from time to time. Yes, I do enjoy playing Minecraft from time to time. I don't understand why this chart book is displaying like this. Let me drag this back over here. Bear with me. Okay, so we're getting a little pullback here. Gosh, this is just, the stream is falling apart. This is horrific. See if that fixes itself. There we go. That's better. All right, that's about as good as it's going to get for right now. I'll have to fiddle with it later. Let's kind of zoom in here on this and see if we can find that moment when we should add. I've got this in open, high, lows, close bars just because it's lets me very clearly see when we're hitting certain levels. And so you can see that the trades delta is kind of starting to bend a little bit before prices. So that's those limit order trades coming in. Little, it's kind of nuanced, but there's a little it's just real subtle. Our price is still pretty sharp, but that's kind of limit order absorption. I would like to see it be happening further down here, but it's not, and that's okay. So let's just see if we choose to add. Sometimes you'll get this other little push down here. Good. Come all the way back down to that delta neutral. I'm going to add one right there. Nice push down. Got to figure out how to, I'm over here resizing this preview panel and stuff in OBS to make sure that, so that way you guys are looking at the desktop. Nobody wants to see my taskbar down there. Hey, what's going on, Brent? I'm gonna have to go here in a little bit. We have company coming over at 1 and it's about almost 12, so I'll probably stay till 12, 12:15. Like it that we're seeing some order flow come in. We're positive now on the day. So our order book is flipped, right? Our order book is now positive. So we're looking for longs here. Brent, I guess you weren't here earlier, but let me zoom out a little bit. We took an initial short trade up here because our RTH order book was pushing lower, and then we held it for a little bit. We made like 200 bucks on that, just a single micro, sold it or closed it, and then we started to spot our divergence here in our trades delta. So this is really trapped sellers down here. And at the time, this was our RTH delta low over here. Kind of made this double bottom. And then since then, order flow has been positive. And so you can see where I initially purchased, sounds so funny saying it like that. Bought 1 micro here and held through some heat. I think at one point we were maybe taking $500 in heat. And then we averaged in, DCA'd in right here on this kind of divergence. And then we've held, and then you can see where we've taken some off the profit. I'm going to go ahead and buy a couple more here. Usually what I like to do, guys, is if I'm trying to add in, I will add in up to the swing point, right? So again, everybody's different. I'm trying to keep it light today because I know that I've got a bunch of people trading smaller accounts, so try not to hammer it with size. It's not about showing you how much money I can make on size. It's really about teaching you guys to read the order book. So we want to see this hold. We want to see our order flow continue to go higher. I am expecting there potentially to be another push down here to delta neutral, and that's fine. Now, if it really starts to break through delta neutral, then we probably should get out because that means it's going to go ahead and try to sweep this low here. So I don't mind taking a little bit of heat on it because we're still above delta neutral. We should start seeing some buyers come back in. I'm gonna have to figure out the best way for me to keep up with. I have 2 chat streams and keep myself focused here on trading. Definitely need another monitor. If you guys that are watching on YouTube, if you have any questions, let me know. I just realized that YouTube has gamified live stream chats. It's funny, you guys get XP points for posting. So, amped trades, you were number 3, now you're number 2. So, you better step it up because TXBT 2505 is still the number 1 slot. So, just saying. It's interesting. They're really trying to get everybody hooked on those dopamine spikes. And see you, brother. Have a good day, man. Hoping to get some buying follow through here. I'd hate for them to flip the book only to let it just drop. But it happens. Again, I don't predict one way or the other what's going to happen. I just try to put myself in alignment with the order book. And some days I do a great job of it, and some days I still leave a lot on the table. But don't think today will be one of them. Sure that a lot of folks are hoping that this low gets swept here, and it may certainly do that, but the order book is now flipped positive, and so there's just a bunch of there's been really nothing but buying in the market since 10:30. The order book started to slip at like 9:40. It's not slip, but flip at like 9:45, 10 o'clock. Those passive buyers are coming in, and then yeah, about 10:30 is when it really flipped positive, and it's basically been positive ever since. So we're just trying to lean on that. Buy one more there. So we're in 5 micros at this point. Ooh, now we're getting a little bit of follow through from the buyers. Let's see what they do. The buyers that accumulated through all of this here showed some aggression, took price higher, but then there has to be some limit orders, right, that kind of come in and backfill this kind of aggression to support price to take it higher. So I like to think of it as, you know, price sinking back into those limit orders. The market can't move on limit orders. It has to have market orders. So that's really what we're looking at is, you know, the relationship between the buyers and the sellers and the order types that they're using. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate you very much. Very much. I will probably at some point apply for Apex for an affiliate code, and I'll post that. The goal for you guys obviously is to get to where you trade your personal account. You have a lot more freedom, flexibility, but it takes time. And then, yeah, I'll likely put together some kind of course so that way it's cohesive and it's it all makes sense and it's one thing. It's not just me on X posting screenshots of my trades or bits and pieces from a live stream, but it's actually there in different training blocks. That's all I did in the military, really, was train people. I worked as an instructor several different occasions. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed training people and teaching them new skills, whether it was being a jump master or marksmanship instructor or sniper instructor, CQB, or combatives instructor. Love teaching jiu-jitsu and striking and stuff. So I just like teaching. It's fun. And I get a lot out of it, especially when it starts to click for people. So I would say expect a course. Right now, I'm kind of looking at maybe releasing it in March, but I'll probably do a pre-sale between now and Christmas and New Year's. So the folks that, you know, buy the Spec Ops order flow course, I guess that's what I'm going to call it, will receive a big discount, like probably 50 to 75% off of the course price. And I'll probably limit it to either somewhere between 10 and 100 people initially, and probably reserve Discord access for people who purchase the course. I thought about doing a paid Discord initially or free Discord, but again, I can't have thousands of people in Discord hitting me with questions every day. So I'm kind of thinking that if I limit it to just people who purchase the course, then they'll at least kind of have the foundation of how I look at trading NQES and gold. They'll have that kind of educational foundation, and then from that, I can answer their questions in a private Discord without overwhelming myself. Because right now, I'm honestly a little overwhelmed with the number of questions I get each day. And so I try to, right, like I'm sympathetic to people who are struggling financially and struggling in life. I've been there, I've been through depression and PTSD. Um, my last deployment was pretty tough. I'm not going to go into details right now about that. At some point, maybe I'll share that. But so, yeah, I've just got to find the balance, right? I got to find the balance. I'm sure that you guys have jobs and families can understand that. So, all right. This is kind of it's not a funky day. It's just a no news day. To me, order flow is much easier to read on days when we have major news catalysts and prices really pushing hard one direction or the other. So if the order flow starts to really break down from here, then I will absolutely get out of this. Otherwise, I just don't have any reason to exit yet. I think you guys are about to hear our vacuum cleaner. Yeah, I apologize. We have guests coming over in about an hour, so my wife is being an amazing wife that she is. So. All right, so this thing's starting to kind of bend back in our direction here. We want to see the volume delta and trades delta continue to make new highs. That is showing us that the order flow, the order book is still wanting to go higher. If it kind of starts collapsing from here, then that tells us that there's something else that's coming in, and we probably need to exit. I hope that this is helpful, and I want it to be different than what you guys are. When I say you guys, I mean me. Like I'm not really any further along than anybody else that's listening to my voice or watching my stream right now. Yeah, I've gotten several payouts from Apex, and I'm very grateful for that. But you know, I'm growing a personal account. I'm still expanding my prop firm portfolio, trying to figure out how much more of the prop firm game do I really want to participate in. And but I hope that this is kind of a different take on the markets. And to me, it's very intuitive. I enjoy it. It's I feel like I'm actually understanding what's going on. It's not just me looking at 1 minute bars or 5 minute bars on a chart. And I think that there's still a lot more even for me to learn about it. Obviously, your data feed and everything that you have plays a part in it. If your charts and your order flow analysis is only going to be as good as your data feed. So I would encourage you to get the best data feed that you can. Watch and see what happens here. For those of you that had been watching this stream earlier this morning, I had talked about this accumulation kind of unfolding here in the order book. Aggressive buyers starting to come in. We had built into a position here, which is what you guys are seeing, these take profits. And I was trying to demonstrate how to add into a winning trade, which technically it's still working. But that's why you guys see these buys that are here. I think that we still have 1 or 2 contracts from down here. And then we've, yeah, so one contract from down here, and then we've bought 4 other micros in this area, trying to add into this trade based on what we're seeing here in the order flow. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's a skill for sure. I think you guys too like have to understand that just because there's a divergence doesn't necessarily mean that the market is ready to turn. And I know myself, like I get caught, thankfully not nearly as much as I used to, but I would get caught so early on stuff, you know, and it's aggravating because you end up being in the situation where you see a divergence in the order book that's happening, and but you get stopped out, right? Because you're trading a prop account with a trailing drawdown or whatever, and just like man, and then it just runs, right? Then it runs in the direction that you thought it was going to run in, and you were right, but you didn't have the drawdown or the risk available for you to let it go. So it can be frustrating. And so just, you know, be patient. And also too, those you guys, you have to understand that I will DCA into trades. You know, I like to add into winners. That's obviously preferred, but there are times that I will DCA into trades. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I use a daily loss limit, and that daily loss limit is set in if I'm trading my Apex accounts, then that is set in Rhythmic. There's several videos on YouTube about how to set that up, and you know that could be $500, it could be $1,000. And my personal account, I use a different, you know, different risk parameters for it. But that daily loss limit, I am free to DCA into that. Basically, it gives me flexibility, and I like it. Sure, Trump could tweet something right now, and this thing could absolutely tank, and I would be out, you know, potentially hundreds or thousands of dollars. That kind of stuff certainly can happen. You know, today is basically a no news day, so I'm not anticipating that happen. But with micros, I'm not too worried about it. The key is just not getting sized up so heavy, right? You can make a very, very nice living for yourselves using micro, guys, using micros. So that's kind of my thought behind it. I'm going to stay on here for about another 15 minutes. Like I said, we have guests coming over, so if the sellers do decide to step back in and get really aggressive, have no fear, right? Anytime that you take a loss, especially if you're, you know, like for me, if price is falling against me and I'm trying to build into a long position, if I get stopped out, I don't worry about it, because that just means that at some point later on, I'm going to have an even better opportunity to build into a long trade. So, you know, we're getting into that lunchtime hour. I do know that we are in proximity to a monthly VWAP close. And so let me see, how do I show you guys that? Can you guys see that? Let's see. I'm still ironing out how big of a delay it is between what I'm doing in OBS and when it actually hits on YouTube. Okay, yeah, so there you go. Ignore that it needs to roll over. I haven't rolled it over yet, but you guys can see that we're back down up against this previous month's VWAP. So I just use these. I don't buy and sell based off of them. I really just use them to help me see where institutional buying and selling might take place. That's it. That's all that I do with it. I don't buy and sell off of them. I'm only buying and selling off of the order flow itself. So you can see that we've sold off, right? And we're back down here towards this monthly VWAP. This is a great spot for institutions to buy and sell. If for some reason it gets back all the way back up to last week's VWAP and the rolling monthly VWAP, that's probably a good spot for them to, to sell. And I guess this is where maybe I look at this volume profile and I can say, hey, there's like a high volume node right here, right? This would be a big area if we get back up there that they could very likely start to sell it off again. So right now we're, heavily discounted. It literally, trading really is buying low and selling high. So you got to ask yourself, like, are you the one that wants to be shorting down here? No, I don't want to be taking shorts down here. I want to be looking for longs because we've dropped so far. So anyway, so that's in the background. I don't exactly know where that is. Let me plot that and just see where it's at. So it's basically at 123. Let me roll this thing over real quick. Okay. So their buys are still holding this. It starts to break lower heavily in the order book, we'll get out, but not seeing it yet. So we'll just continue to hold through it. Again, I don't look at candlestick formations, wedges, patterns, gaps, I don't look at any of that. I don't even care if it sweeps liquidity, right? Like I don't look at any of that. I'm only looking at the order book and its relationship to price. That's it. I keep it simple. Okay, that chart is reloading so we can get an accurate plot here on this monthly VWAP close. I do like the monthly VWAPs. I like the longer term VWAPs. They are nice to see. They give you a nice little layer of confluence, right? When you're buying or selling, you're trying to get into a position and you see it reclaiming those VWAPs. Playing the lunchtime waiting game. This is actually a similar situation to what I had in the overnight session this morning. I did take a trade and did well on it. I posted it this morning with a short description, but it actually looks very similar to this, where the overnight session had gone negative. The order book was negative, but then it flipped positive, and we kind of got a pullback that skipped along the neutral line before it really took off. And so, you know, the buyers and sellers are kind of handshaking, right? We want to see the trades delta, which is in red, start to make new highs. Volume delta follow that. This process takes a while to unfold. You know, accumulation takes a while. You just have to be patient with it. This is why I really like to look at people. I get asked a lot, like, how do you trade a 5-second chart or a 30-second chart? Well, this is how you do it. Because if I look at a 1-minute chart, it's not giving me this kind of detail. Right? I want to see the details in the order book. I want to see these little micro interactions with price and with delta. I want to see how closely delta gets to, you know, to neutral before it's starting to bounce, etc. So for me, that's why I like to look at like a 30-second chart or a 5-second chart. Again, this is the execution chart, right? This is not the pie in the sky, where are we in outer space strategic chart. I showed you guys that a minute ago. That's the one with the VWAPs on it. I'm going to give this a few more minutes. I got to go. Naturally, as soon as I get off stream, it'll start running. It's okay. We made our money today on one short. Our pre-market trade was nice. Made money today on one short, and then we have our long from the low, and we were trying to demonstrate adding into a winner trade, or adding into a winning trade, but it's taking a little longer to materialize. So. If you guys are using volume delta on your chart, I would encourage you to the RTH low in your delta, the RTH delta neutral, and then also the RTH high, right, are all important levels for you guys to monitor. Why did I label that one delta neutral? That's not delta neutral. delta low. Like it might want to drop here. Order book is still positive, so still very bullish until the order book flips negative again, right? Like we have to trust the orders. It's really all that we can trust is the orders themselves. And the orders themselves are telling us, hey, we're buying. Our trades are buying. Our size on our market orders is still buying. So we have to trust that. If it flips and it starts going negative with strength and with conviction, then we change, right? We adapt to it. But since 10:30, the sellers have not been aggressive. There's a little bit of aggression right here. And maybe, maybe it's actually going to continue lower, but the order book would have to flip back to negative and continue to sell off, which, hey, that does happen from time to time. We have no idea what their real intentions are on the day. We don't try to predict that. Just try to get in alignment with the order book. And right now the order book is still very much bullish. So these little wicks down and things like that, we're not panicking. Also too, there's a lot of volume profile guys right now that are probably trying to sell this, and that's fine. They might be right, but I like to lean on the orders themselves. Now, we're not making fresh highs, but we are making higher lows. So that's telling us something. All right, if we really kind of zoom in here and look at this, sure, we're not making new highs in our order book, but we are making higher lows. All right, gang. I stayed an extra 5 minutes. I actually stayed like an extra 15 minutes. I would love to sit here and babysit this and work myself back into a better position. But I'm gonna have to take my marbles and go home. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We finished up about 3,000 on the day because of the pre-market trade, but I'm gonna have to get out of this even though I don't really want to. So I hope it's been helpful for you guys. I'm gonna do my best to stream each day. And also, again, like I said, I'm working on my Apex affiliate code. But my goal is just to open up you guys to a different way to look at the charts. And again, I appreciate you guys tuning in, especially the folks on YouTube. This is really the first time I've been able to have chat and some questions, and I appreciate it, guys. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I'm going to exit this trade. I'm out. No, watch, it'll pop. That's okay. All right. You guys have a blessed day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I wish you guys all the best. Take care.